This is Infection, the survival podcast, recorded live on Tuesday, June 13th, 2017, episode 126. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Infection, the survival podcast. Infection is your source for the latest information on survival video games. We bring you the latest news, reviews, updates, and more each and every week. My name is Nick Craig. At Nicholas M. Craig is my Twitter. InfectionPodcast.com is the website. And we're going to be spending a lot of time talking about E3 this week. Tell me with that, my co-pilot, Brian Aldridge. Hey, Brian.
Yes. Hey, everybody. If you want to find me on the internet, you're more welcome to go on Twitter at Boise Computer or check out my blog, biteoftech.com. Have a bunch of nerdy things on there. Also, the nice thing about that is on the upper right, there are pretty much links to any kind of social media that I have. So if you're trying to figure out where to find me on different places, just go to Bite of Tech. That's BITE of tech.com. On the upper right hand side, you'll see a bunch of icons for various social media, and you can find me there. Also, we have our Discord group. We have our Steam group. So if you're looking for people, we've had a lot of new faces over the last couple of weeks coming into our Discord, and how you can join us is go to infectionpodcast.com. On the right-hand side, you'll see a green button that says join, and that will connect you right into our Discord group. And once you're logged in, you're a part of it. And as long as you have it launched, you should be able to join in and join us in any games, join into the chat that's happening pretty much all day. One thing, we did a lot of E3 during E3, live videos going up, a lot of people chatting in there. You know, we like to give a lot of these places hard time. So sitting there giving each other a hard time about whatever's on the video.
All I can say is thank God somebody from those companies is not sitting and getting their feedback from the community in our Discord.
Yeah.
There you go.
So yeah, so on there, we have our Steam group as well. So if you're looking to get notified, one way is you get notified of live shows they're going to do, maybe game of the weeks. Also, you can get notifications of that inside of the Discord as well. We have a notifications channel. But if you're maybe trying to find people, it's really easy if you join our Steam group. If you're in Discord and you're trying to add people inside of Steam to be able to play a game with them, if you both join the Discord group or the Steam group, it's really easy to find each other that way rather than trying to search through names and find people in a big long list. So just a little tip.
Well, there's your tip of the week, folks, right here at the beginning of the show.
Yes, well, that's not the one of the week, but we'll go for it.
A couple of tips throughout the show. I mean, can't complain. We did our game thing, our weekly board game night last weekend. Brian, of course, Brian scheduled something.
Family
of course,
obligations.
Yeah,
it was a wonderful first birthday.
Great. Well, because you weren't there, we were unable to do Secret Hitler. So thank you. I appreciate that. But we did do letters from Whitechapel. And I was Jack the Ripper, and I won. So that was fun.
Nice.
Played that for a while. That was really good.
That takes that game seems to take
hardcore.
A lot of. It's not a game that's easy. Like you have to be thinking. You can't just kind of be like, oh, I'll just do this. You have to be sitting and planning, especially as the investigators, the whole time, just because you're looking for that first clue. I mean, if you think of it, it's just like a real detective story in a way. You're looking for that one clue that will lead you somewhere, and you can go almost the whole game, not find a single clue. And it's like, okay, I'm not getting anything. But if you can find that one clue, then it allows you to start tracking it down. So it's pretty cool how it actually works out in a way similar to a detective.
Yeah, well, you heard it here first. You want to become a detective? Just play Letters from Whitechapel. It's pretty much.
Yeah,
the
you
same
don't need
thing.
any schooling or training. I mean, just play Whitechapel.
Yeah, it's great. So we did that. Our next board game night or evening will be Saturday, July 8th. Which I may or may not be here for. Brian probably won't be here for, so we may actually have to move that.
I'll be here, but we'll see if I'll be packing. And
I'm probably going to be packing as well, so that one may shift. But we'll do one in July at some point. Maybe it'll be towards the end of the month. Or who knows?
We'll see. I just don't know, like, it's hard to judge when you're preparing for something big, like the day before, if you procrastinated.
I'm an
a
expert.
whole long time. Yeah, it's like, oh, Saturday I got to be doing this. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah. So
We'll find out.
let's Brian, one of the members of our community, Firebomb, actually got some infection. He has become a walking billboard for infection. And no monetary commitment. We didn't have to give him anything. No money, nothing. We didn't have to pay him off. We didn't have to bribe him. It was great. Yep. So explain this, Brian.
All right. So he went through and got some shirts printed up. He was able to grab we have our logo. We have the cartoons that Green Man had made for us. And so we took our logo. We have two styles of our logo. Our wide banner logo. Then we have our pictures above that he put on the upper left front of the shirt. And then on the back, we have our large circular logo with the website name. And then he has his Discord name or his character
alias
name up there. Yeah, his alias, Firebomb, at the top. And so we're looking at ways. I mean, we can have something pretty similar. We're actually comparing today different places for prices for that. So
people want to get their own
between
shirts,
$20 to $30, just depending where we go. So maybe we'll have something where people can have a link, and if they want to have some shirts, you can put your own custom name on the back, and they're they got nice artwork on them. They came out well. So
yeah. So thanks, Firebomb, for the promotion. We've had a whole bunch, an influx of people coming into Discord the past couple of days, which is good.
It's summer. Like it's kind of the drop of summer. People that are going out and doing things, but also there's the people that are maybe kind of like, okay, it's summer, I'm going to play some games, this summer or something.
The summer crowd.
So I think you're getting kind of the summer crowd coming in, and then you get some people that are kind of out and doing things on a Tuesday night because of the beautiful weather. So
yeah, like I'd rather be doing right now, but I'm not. I'm here.
Hey.
Okay, so enough of this. We've got so much stuff that we have to cover. I guarantee we don't even get halfway through our notes. Brian, we had a massive, when I say massive, I mean massive announcement from ARC this week. This is something that we have been talking about. Specifically, you have been talking. When I say it in the intro, I should be adding speculation because we do speculate. But what is this, Brian? What is this massive news that we've been
waiting for? They officially announced, and this was on the 12th. So this was yesterday. They officially announced the full launch of ARC is going to be on 8/8/2017. So we're looking at August 8th, 2017. They're going to be doing the full launch. Now, they did give a couple of hints in this. This will be on Xbox One, PS4, and PC that you'll be able to do this. They show a collector's edition, which I'm assuming is going to be pretty expensive. It does come with
It's not actually. It's only $160. And you could say,
that's not bad because it comes with a decent amount of stuff.
Yeah, so this is it's kind of in the ballpark for a typical collector's edition game. So obviously you get the game, and you get some type of chest crate thing here, kind of like a leather skinned notebook, a map. You get your season pass, some type of arc. It looks like a necklace. It's got a long enough string.
It's a necklace.
Okay,
yeah.
A necklace, and then just kind of like an art book with some of the creatures from the game. And this is kind of par for the course with some other games that have this stuff. Call of Duty's.
Yeah, I mean, like that box,
editions.
it looks like it's a high quality. It's something you'd actually stick up on your shelf.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like this fridge thing was part of Call of Duty's. I think that was like maybe $190 or $200, something like that. Which these things fluctuate between $150 and probably $250, depending on how legit the stuff that comes with it is. But you look at this, $60 for the game. You're spending $100 on everything else. The way this is, it's not a good deal. Let's be clear. But if you're a fan of the game and you really love the game, this is worth $100. I mean, that's what
the thing is. One thing is it comes with the season pass.
Yep.
Which is something new
$60
that they hadn't talked about before. So that's a season pass, and they're going to be doing 2 additional expansions beyond Scorched Earth. So they had Scorched Earth. That was one expansion. So this season pass would include that. And they're doing 2 additional ones that they haven't announced yet. That are not going to be like mods or map mods. These are going to be full expansions, which probably will have something to do with the new system that they're going to be implementing on the 8th of leveling up. Now, one thing is, if you look at this, the collector's edition comes with that art book, which has all of the different dinosaurs, the
Oh, cool.
100 dinosaurs. It has an art book that has all of those pages that we look at
Hmm.
for the 100 dinosaurs. It comes with a full, I think, a fabric map that of the island, and then it comes with the game, the season pass, that leather bound book, the necklace, and the box that that has all the stuff in it. So not bad. I mean, if you're into that and you're a fan of Ark, I would say that it's at least they're giving you something. I mean, that's some really good artwork and the map. Like, it's cool stuff. They'd be like, hey, look at this. Maybe put it on your shelf behind
That's
you.
all it is. It's all about putting this stuff on your shelf. None of this stuff is practical, but if you're a big enough fan of the game, it's kind of.
I think I'd
a
rather have
no-brainer.
this than a little dinosaur.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Plastic dinosaur.
That would be
or something.
super lame. So you can pre-order this. There's going to be actual physical disc copies made, which right now there doesn't exist. So you're going to get an actual Xbox or PlayStation disc in case you'll be able to buy this in retail stores. Now, the one thing with the collector's edition is it is only through GameStop, so it's a GameStop exclusivity deal, which is fine. I don't really care. And you can, they talk about some of the expansion packs. They're coming soon, and you can pre-order this if you don't already have it. The game is
I'm assuming you can do the season pass later. Like, let's say you already have the game, which most people do.
Yeah,
you can just go buy that season pass. It'll give you those future expansions as well, and that'll give you everything you need to play the game.
And this game is going to be $60 retail, like any other finished game, $59.99, and you'll be able to get this at a store. At a GameStop or a Walmart or a Target, I would imagine, coming up with that. So cool stuff from Ark. We've been talking about this for a while. You can pre-order it now, playark.com if you are interested. If you don't already have it, or if you want the console version, which some people do, they like having PC and console version of games. So check that out. That's big news, though. I mean, we've been saying for months now, we've been waiting for this launch, and this is going to be, I think, probably the first real successful early access launch into a real game.
That is launching like a true AAA in a way.
Yeah, I can't think of many other game. I can't think of any other game
that have come with the collector's edition that is actually legit collector's edition.
Yeah,
most of them don't do that.
No. So congratulations to the Ark team, and I would imagine we'll get somebody from Ark back on the show around this time to talk about pimp that out and talk about some of that stuff. So
maybe we can do it once there's a little bit of news about the DLCs or something. That might be a good time to have them come out and talk about. Yep. So we'll work on that in the background, but that's going to probably come up. I mean, that's in 2 months, a little under 2 months that this will be happening. So, and they did put out a decent number of patches this week.
Okay.
So this was, of course, they're not putting out new content, but they are putting out patches. So 258.6, and this is from June 6th. So it was last week, the new Primitive Plus update. So they did put out, a pretty big update for Primitive Plus. They updated the host setting menu so that you can now set most server settings through this UI, and also set which engrams are available. So maybe you want to have a custom server that has certain engrams available. You can set that through a host settings menu. And then they updated various sounds, which we've been talking about. Like, that's kind of the final polishing touches, going through and getting the final sounds that you want to have for all of your creatures and all, movements and everything else, environment. So they're still working on that. They changed the spider to be able to attack and shoot webbing while moving, and also the rider can aim the webbing. And then they rebalanced the brood mother, which they said is still a work in progress, but that is one of the bosses. And then let's see, 258.61, and they added the tech ATV visuals. So they're kind of finishing that up. And I'm wondering if this is a little bit of a hint at, I mean, maybe they're adding something for this final release on the 8th. Of course, not this month 8th, but in 2 months from now, if there's going to be something with the ATV actually used in the game. I'm assuming it has something, or maybe it's in preparation for one of those DLCs. It'll be kind of fun to see how that progression system works. But they are adding tech ATV visuals and added a rideable passenger seat to that, so you can now take people with you. They fixed an issue with the character painting not loading in single player. They fixed a texture streaming issue. They fixed some main menu gamepad issues, and then work in progress reorganization of dyno commands in action wheel submenus. And they said we have much more to come on that. So they are redoing how that works. And then we got 258.62. This was a small one. This is just a fixed an ammo issue. And that was on the 9th that they did that. Then they have 258.71. And this one was on June 10th. They rebalanced the Broodmother and streamlined Broodmother Arena. And then a work in progress of restyling of action wheels. So they're still working on the previous one was doing the dyno commands, but they are still doing more on that, trying to polish the action wheel. Then they did 258.8. This is June 12th. They added a new expansion arc support for Ragnarok. Now, this one is actually kind of big. I don't know if I don't think I put the video in there. Maybe you can play. I have a link to it. Let me put it in here in the notes because I actually didn't put that correctly. So this is the Steam page for it. This is the first official kind of mod map that they did, that they've released. That is, it's actually pretty big. It's got a lot of new things that, for instance, you'll notice that the dragons are in here.
Mm-hmm.
So this would be a way that you would be able to transport dragons. Remember, you can only get dragons previously through Scorched Earth.
Holy crap.
Well, this map has dragons. So if you didn't pay for the expansion, there are things in here that you can get and bring back. Plus, it's got, looks like some storyline. It looks like a pretty big, well done map. So this is about a 2 gigabyte download. So you may want to, if you're planning on trying it at all, get it downloading, get it loaded. But this is the first, this is not one of the DLCs. So this is this is free. It's not a DLC, but this is kind of where they're going with adding these different maps. And this will be interesting to see how this plays into kind of the end result that we're going to see here in 2 months. Is this going to be part of the whole Ascension system? I'm kind of curious to see how this all works, because I don't think anybody really knows at the moment outside of the company. So, but definitely check it out. You can load it up, and they have official servers that are coming up for that. And then 258.81, this was on June 13th. They fixed Tamed Griffin not being rideable without a saddle, because there is no Griffin saddle. They fixed Ragnarok spawn counts being too low. They fixed Ragnarok high-level cave dire bears being tameable. And then they reorganized more of the action wheel options. So that brings us to current. And that was just today that they put out that last patch. So they are still working on it actively, and they've got 2 months to really polish the thing. And I'm sure there's a lot of stuff going that we won't see because they're doing a lot of things that are going to be revealed on the launch.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that they're getting and trying to perfect in the background that we're not going to see in these patch notes that when the launch happens. We'll definitely have to make a night when we all go in there on app post launch and play, because it should be kind of a different system. Yeah. So it'll be kind of exciting to try out.
Absolutely. I'm very excited.
Pretty much.
I'm very excited for this launch. I'm happy for this team. Like the game or hate the game, they have absolutely made a killer product, and they deserve every bit of success because they busted their ass for years, for all, develop it 2 years, however 2.5 years, however long they've been developing this game. Updates 7 days a week.
For being such a small, and having spoken with them, like being such a small development team.
Yeah.
It's incredible. The game is incredible.
Yeah. And when I look at what they've done and I see the kind of the stuff that Battlegrounds is working on, I see a parallel between this, constant updates, constant talking with the community, constant new content.
Constant progression.
At no point did Ark say, hey, yeah, we're not going to add animals in for 9 months or creatures in for 9 months to do this. They just kept adding things in.
We're getting behind, or we need to redo something. We need to stop doing this. And we're going to come back in a couple weeks. Yeah, there was none of that.
It was just a constant,
consistently worked on the whole time.
Yeah, and it wasn't, there was of course slow weeks and a couple slow weeks.
Teasing me about it's Unreal Engine. There's one common thing between those two things, and and that's the thing. It's a platform that you're not being held back by, and we've constantly preached about this with H1Z1. They're constantly working around the engine, fighting the engine. These developers that are working under a real engine aren't having to fight it the whole time.
Yes.
I mean, that's the thing, is this is a real engine that's not 100% made by them. Like, there's a full other huge company behind Unreal that keep it running and keep it bug free.
Yes, this is true. But I mean, also, it's not completely the engine. I mean, you could hand somebody Unreal, and I think the other thing too to note is that Arc.
It's them plus.
Well, I think it's probably 75% work ethic and concept and management and employees. I'm not saying it's not the engine, but I'm telling you, the issues we talk about with H1Z1 are not all because of the engine. It's because of because of a lot of other things. I mean, look at Friday the 13th.
But I think a lot of it
there's a great example of a game on Unreal. Yeah, and look where that is. I mean, it's not the same thing.
Yeah, and that's true. But I think that they've gotten kind of the perfect storm of productivity, I guess you could say, of not fighting the engine, having a really good development team, having, the dedication and a good vision. Like, you don't have those things constantly slowing you down and be like, oh, we're having to fix this. Oh, we're having to stop, putting out features because we've got to fix the engine for 3 months.
Yeah.
You're not dealing with that, or taking out features because it's not possible. It's possible. You haven't made it yet. That's possible. Kind of the thing with Unreal. You can do it. You just need to figure out how. Actually, I saw this recently with H1Z1. They said in the last couple weeks, we cannot put swimmable water in.
Yeah.
Cannot, because of the engine.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Okay, the engine doesn't support it.
Well, but it supported it in Landmark. Same engine.
Well, Landmark never came out.
Well, no, it was out. The Landmark was out. Landmark was supposed to be the prerequisite, like a predecessor to something else that came out. And so they had Landmark as kind of like a test platform. And people were in it making buildings and running around it and doing things. So there was swimming in that, and there were caves in that. There were all these things in that. It's on the same engine. Yet we have the H1Z1 guys, not to get off on this, but then we have the H1Z1 guys telling us it's not possible. But you did it already. Someone else did it in your company. They just say that if they don't want to do something, if they don't want to put the time into it to code it, they say the engine can't do it, is what I think. When we know it can, because it's already done in the same engine inside their company in their parallel product.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be for EverQuest XPH. It's supposed to be for EverQuest Next. So they released Landmark, which was kind of doing the whole base building, whatever side stuff that was going to be a part of EverQuest. Like, they released a product to kind of figure that out. And so there's a lot of stuff that's in Landmark that they shut down in the last couple months. They closed that whole product, but there was swimming, there were caves that you could go and explore. There was a lot of these things that they keep telling us is not possible in H1Z1.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really want to get into it. I mean, well, there's no point. It's just, who cares? I mean, they're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. We've been talking about it for a year and a half. I mean,
I just would rather hear them say it's because we have other things to focus on.
But I mean, but hold on though, because you want them to say their engine sucks, and so they do, and then
no, I don't want them to say. They just need to say, that's not our priority right now. Like, maybe someday we'll get to that, but we're working on other things that we think are more important. Don't say the engine isn't capable, because it is. It's happened already.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
It's like saying, saying you can't drive a vehicle in it.
No, but hold on. To be clear, I don't know. I don't think you know for sure either that Landmark was exactly the same engine as H1Z1.
It's the same engine. I mean, they may have that's the thing. That's what I'm saying though. It's the same engine, but they've gone in and customized it.
Well, why'd they close Landmark? Because it wasn't working? Because
they're never going to release EverQuest. What next?
Why?
They closed the whole product.
Yeah, why?
Probably
because the engine couldn't handle the product. Well, I'm sure it had something to do with their engine. I'm just saying. Obviously, they had.
Well, I understand what you're getting at.
That's my point. Great. They tried adding water into Landmark, and it was probably a complete effing disaster. So, I mean, adding it to H1Z1, I don't want to get into it, but it's nevertheless, I don't. It's irrelevant. I mean, it's irrelevant. The engine's the engine. It's just not how it works. But so yeah, that's Ark. Let's talk about Battlegrounds. I don't
You want to
know.
go into Battlegrounds?
Yeah, my software's acting weird over here. Yeah, so let's talk about Battlegrounds. I was actually surprised. I was watching Xbox's E3, and next thing I know, PlayerUnknown is walking out onto the stage. Pimping out Battlegrounds, which is super cool.
Thanks, Phil. Good afternoon, everyone. PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds is a multiplayer battle royale where you must fight against 100 other players to be the last one standing. Our team's focus is to bring the most complete battle royale experience ever to console and deliver a great experience across all Xbox One devices. Our development is truly community-driven, and we owe much of our success to everyone who's given us feedback over the past year. With over 3 million PC players to date, we can't wait to bring PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds exclusively to Xbox One later this year with an update for Xbox One X enhancements shipping with the final version. See you on the Battlegrounds, everyone.
Exclusive.
All right, so that was their I guess that's really kind of their worldwide reveal. Obviously, the game's out already, but this is E3 is the biggest gaming event that happens every year, and to have have center stage at Xbox's or Sony's press event is a massive deal.
Now, when they say exclusive, that means they're not going to release it for PS4?
It's a launch exclusive. So I believe it's going to launch first on the Xbox. Because we've talked about
how they'll still release. I just would be very surprised that they would dedicate never going to PS4.
Well, I mean, Microsoft pays for exclusivity. So if they paid enough and they'd agreed, then that's how that works. It's definitely launching exclusively on Xbox by the end of this year, which is great. I mean, that's Brian. We're already halfway through the year. I mean, we're in the 6th month of the year. So when we say launching by the end of the year, you think, oh man, that's ways away. Not really. I mean, you're talking within the next 5 or 6 months. That's not that awfully far away. So that's huge. It's nice to see that this. I saw a lot of people saying that they didn't think Battlegrounds would be a good console game. I think it'll be a great console game.
I don't know. I think it'll be fine. And if they can get the user interface, which they haven't really focused on a ton yet, if they can get it to where it feels natural and smooth, I think it will work just fine.
And I mean, I really look forward to I really look forward to playing this on the Xbox. I'm 100% getting this on the Xbox to see how this plays.
Yeah.
So that was kind of that's the big news about them launching for the Xbox. Doesn't really affect the PC community at all.
Yeah.
But we did have some other things that were specifically catered towards the PC community, which the way I see it is the PC community is kind of going to be the test environment for consoles, similarly in the way that Arc is kind of the PC version was always kind of the test, and then things were switched over to the console version if they worked. Now this next thing, Brian, is a video from the PC Gaming Show reveal, and this is done by PC Gamer and Intel, and this shows off some changes or some new features like vaulting, climbing, weather, and stuff like that. And then we've got a couple of screenshots that we'll show after. So we'll roll this. And by the way, if you're listening to this podcast on your phone, on your way to work or whatever, all of these video links are in our show notes, infectionpodcast.com, so you can watch these in full effect. So there we go. We saw climbing, which, by the way, the climbing animation, super cool. And the thing to know,
that should make a big difference because you're constantly trying to jump over a little wall, like a half-high wall.
Well, see, I see this.
And sometimes it takes you 3 or 4 jumps to do it.
See, I see this the opposite way. If I show you this climbing animation again, you are putting yourself in complete harm's way doing this climbing animation from the side view. I mean, you're talking that's a good 2 to 3 second animation for you to hop up on top of that ledge where you're completely susceptible to getting shot. Yeah.
See, that's the thing though, is they have different ones. It's not all the same animations. So they have it based on the height of what you're getting on. So that's one that's a higher up object and it takes you longer to get onto. Then they have the half height walls, which is kind of a running jump. Over vehicles, you can do this flip. And so they have a number of different ones to make it so that if it's something quick that you should be able to jump over, that you're not sitting there and taking 3 seconds to do it. You can keep on moving, maybe jump over something when you're running away from somebody. So I think that's the right way to do it, not force everybody into, all right, here's the climbing animation like you see in some games. You can get stuck in that animation.
Yeah. So that is super cool. They showed that new gun that we'll talk about, but for the weather, this screenshot really stuck out to me. This is unbelievable.
Yeah. So this is the weather system for kind of in the evening. Just looks really nice. They have a nice weather effect. That's something they haven't really focused on too much, I don't think, but they're trying to get it to where it gets that nice atmosphere in there.
The sky looks unbelievable. The sky that looks like looks like a real night sky. I mean, if you would have told me they imported a picture of of something, I'd believe you. The sky looks really, really good.
Yep. So we will we'll see. I mean, that'll be really cool when they get that in there. And I'm trying to remember when the content patch is. I'm wondering if we're going to be seeing this in the next 2 weeks.
That will be a couple of weeks.
I think it's so I'm thinking like probably 2 weeks. Maybe we'll see some of these things in here.
And then here is your new gun.
This gun is it's a 7.62, so it's going to take 7.62 ammo.
Yeah.
When you're shooting with it, and it's a mid-range. It's not a sniper. It does have a scope on it that's built in. I think that one's built in. Maybe that's
couldn't tell
what
you.
they threw on there, but it is a. Yeah, I think that looks like the 2X, but I don't know. It might be permanent. It doesn't seem like the previous one where it's a permanent scope though. So this may be just them putting the 2X because that's kind of the range that this works with. But yeah, it's a 7.62 mid range. Ross is saying, yeah, it's a 2X scope on there. And then there's another thing they've added, and this kind of came as a surprise. And I want to get your opinion on this.
Yeah.
But they've added what's going to be a possible new game mode, and this is going to be zombies. So this is not in the main. A lot of people freaking out. You're putting this in the main game. No, this is a game mode, like an optional game mode. So they're making it to where you'll be able to have customizable games and choose what you want to play. So they have a video here showing off just test of what the zombies might look like.
All right.
So let's lay the groundwork for this, a little bit of what this is. So these will actually be player controlled zombies.
Okay.
What I'm kind of wondering is if you'll play, when you die, you come back as a zombie that then are trying to kill the other players that are still alive. That's kind of my guess. That would be a really cool game mode rather than having it to where you spawn in and you're all, there's half zombies and half people that are not zombies. I think that they should do it to where you load in as a regular player. Once you die, rather than having any kind of spectate cam or anything like that, you actually then become a zombie, and your goal is to try to kill other players that are playing.
Now you're talking like Left 4 Dead kind of stuff at that point. That's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool.
where then you're controlling a zombie. But that one you kind of still set up beforehand. These guys are zombie. You alternate. This one you could have it to where there's 100 players that fall in. By the time that you get down to the last two players, you'll have a possible 98 zombies that are on the map trying to find those last two players to kill them. And it's the last man standing wins. I mean, that'd be a pretty cool game mode.
Absolutely.
And they can't drive, like they have to run. So, you're maybe figuring out going into, with, I don't know if there's a gas zone, whatever they're doing to kind of bring them in still. I just don't know. It'd be interesting to see what they do. I don't know if they're doing a pre-planned zombies or you die, you come back as a zombie, which I personally think is the better option.
Yeah, I like that. And I would imagine it would be a smaller game mode, maybe on a more limited map, because they
Maybe
did announce there's going to be new maps as well coming. So limited game mode, limited player count, smaller map, something like that.
Yeah, that way. I mean, because it sucked to be a zombie down on the island and you're having to run and hoof it.
Yeah, the map's just too
to
big.
Georgia Pole or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm just gonna be a running simulator.
So I mean, it's pretty cool. So here's the thing. There's a couple things that we have to remember. First of all, this is still an early access game. So
yeah,
as they should do, as early access games sometimes do, you throw stuff at the wall, you see if it sticks. They may throw this zombie idea at the wall. People may not like it. Then they don't implement it into the final release of the game. I mean, that's the thing to keep in mind with this. Not everything that we hear, not everything that's announced, not everything that is concepted is going to make it into the game. We hear this all the time from Shadowfrax with Rust. Things getting stuck in concept limbo.
They brought up a long time ago.
Ideas get thrown out to the community. They get brainstormed. Then they realize, ooh, there's this huge thing that makes this idea impossible to implement. So then they just throw it on the back burner for 6 months, a year, whenever, until that barrier to entry or whatever is over, and then they re-implement something. So just because we saw zombies, first of all, they made no indication that this was coming to the game anytime soon. And then, I mean, literally, there was two types of zombies. There was a female and a male. The male didn't have a shirt, and they were all they showed that shot of them all running down the hill. All the male,
it's just two. Yeah, they have two models so far of zombie.
Yeah, the guys zombies running down one side, the female on the other. Like, it wasn't anything spectacular. They just showed it, swinging its hands around. It wasn't anything that indicated to me this was coming to the game anytime soon. Like, probably not within the next 6 months, realistically.
Yeah. I don't know. They might be able to get a somewhat playable version in a couple months.
Well, here's the thing: Battlegrounds doesn't release. I mean, Brian, this is the other thing. They're not releasing somewhat playable stuff. They're gonna release something when it's ready to go. I think if the base game was any indication of what the level of playability has to be before launch, then we're gonna see when we see these, we'll see a pretty finished version. I think. I'm not sure.
They're not going to let people run around on a totally broken system for 2 months.
Absolutely not. That's not going to happen.
We'll take that out. It didn't work.
So I think that we'll see this in the future. We may not see it in the future. I mean, they say they're going to bring this into the game. If the community hates it and hates the concept, then they probably won't. Or they might. And I mean, we could have a survival of the fittest on our hands here. Something that people are not interested in playing. Personally, I don't think I'm interested in playing a game mode like that, to be honest with you. I like that in Battlegrounds, I spawn in, I can get a kill early and stay alive, or I get killed early and I restart to the next game. I don't want every game I play to be a 40 or 50-minute game, which is what you'd be having.
That would be a way to guarantee the timing. Like, everybody would be able to play the full amount of time unless they died as a zombie early.
Yeah, well, exactly, and that's the thing is, I'd like that if I want to play quickly in Battlegrounds, if I only have time for one quick Battlegrounds game before I got to run out the door, I can go into a big city with everybody else and try to get a couple kills. In most cases,
this would lend towards that faster game mode of having a smaller map, so that it's not a 40-minute game every time.
Yeah,
because that gets pretty tough to try to do constantly.
And I mean, I played some more. I played some more Battlegrounds this week. I don't know if you played any. Really enjoying it. There is nothing negative for me to say besides jumping over things and vaulting. That is, and that's the big issue in the game right now. Which, if that's your big issue, like 2 months after your game's been out, you're in tip-top shape.
Yeah. Well, and that's kind of those polished things. And that's good that they're getting to this, because that was one of the, if you picked one thing that's kind of frustrating in the game right now, and it's like, well, when you're trying to jump over something, like we've gotten to where sometimes I just end up running around, whatever it is. And, that's part of the game. That's fine. But that's one of those things. It's like, okay, that's one of the more frustrating things, and they're addressing it. I can't think off the top of my head that many things that are like, man, that's kind of frustrating about this game. It's pretty well polished, and I'm sure that as they introduce new things, they'll get bugs that come into the game, and you'll run into different issues. But they're doing a pretty good job, other than performance. I mean, the thing you can say, the one thing that you can say is there's performance issues sometimes with a server, maybe loading into the cars an instant, but they're addressing that all the other times outside of content. So when they're putting in like this week is server performance, last week it was client performance, and then they do a content patch. So a half to three quarters of the time is client and server performance. So that's going to be constantly improving. And so I'm fine with that. I just expect, just like we ran with Ark. Remember when we first started playing Ark, we would have lag spikes every couple minutes.
20 minutes
and
or so,
yeah, and it would be like a 2 to 3 second lag spike of just everything would kind of pause, and then now we're back.
Yep.
But they work that out, and it works fine. This is under the same engine. I mean, that's the thing, is with these you have to sit there and really tweak and get the performance good. And I think that these guys are capable of doing it. And I think that they're making enough money that maybe when Arc releases, like, they could get hire as a outside consultant, have these guys come in and help them with server performance. I mean, there's another company that has done it figured out server performance with a lot of different assets and everything, that'd be the perfect thing for them to do, is come in and say, hey, we have one of our server guys, we'll lend his brain to you for a couple months.
Yeah.
So, be interesting to see what they do.
I've said it 1,000 times. If you are an early access developer, follow this technique. Follow what Battlegrounds is doing, because every single week, and we'll talk about it with current players, killing it yet again.
Yep.
And there's no indication that it's slowing down. I mean, they were just on the biggest stage in gaming probably all year. The Microsoft stage at E3 is one of the biggest stages.
Once they release Xbox, like there'll be huge another set of players.
Yeah, you think
we don't even see in ours.
You think 3 million is big on PC? I mean, a full console release of a game destroys 3 million copies sold.
And there's probably a lot of people that don't really play PC games that see their friends playing these games, and they're like, "Man, I wish I had the computer," or maybe they just don't. If that were on Xbox, if that were on PS4, I'd play it.
Oh, absolutely!
Just like
I will be
titles
playing this on Xbox.
There's titles on Xbox, or there's titles on PS4 that when I didn't have a PS4, it's like, well, I would play that if I could. Yeah. When you get one, you do. So when it gets to that console, you're going to have all those people that have been looking at it saying, hey, that looks like a cool game, ready to jump in day one. So I think it'll be a pretty quick growth.
Yeah.
And good for them. I mean, they're spending their money, they're spending our money wisely. It seems like they're continuing to progress in the game. It's not like a Kickstarter project where it just kind of dies off and you never see that progression. So
no gripes from me. I have nothing to sit here and complain about. So, as always, bravo to the team over at Bluehole making this. Now, I do have one concern, Brian. Where the hell's Week 11 dev blog? Didn't come out last week.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if part of it has to do with this.
Nah, I don't care. I'm
just wondering if that's why it's delayed. But
that's fine. But I don't care.
So is it a week behind?
They're a week behind. The last one was 5:30.
And I went and looked today. Because sometimes I go look, like I know the address that it's going to be, because it's an additional number, like the number goes up one. And I went and looked, and it's not like posted anywhere, so it's not out yet.
Yeah, 5:30 was the last one, which was last Tuesday, 2 Tuesdays ago. Excuse me. So no, we are missing a Week 11 dev blog. So I don't care if you're at E3. Well, you weren't at E3 last week, so I wanted an update, and there wasn't one. So that's kind of unfortunate. Luckily for them, they made up with enough E3 news, enough E3 content that they were able to do something like that, which is really cool. So I look forward to that. I'm telling you, Brian, I really look forward to playing this on the Xbox. I want to see how that translates over.
Transitions.
And I have no issues with it being on the Xbox. I really, really look forward to playing that. So that's Battlegrounds.
All right, and then so here's a video that was actually when we went to PAX.
This shocked me, by the way.
This small studio that no one was paying attention to. We were the first people. We were the first people to pay attention to this studio, and you can like or not like the game. It's very early access. It's like a team of 5 guys?
Oh, it's
5 people.
Yeah,
as far as developers.
Yeah, maybe 5 to 10.
5, well, okay,
company
5
size.
developers, and maybe 5. Yeah, 5 to maybe 7 if you count a receptionist and whatever else.
Community manager and stuff.
Yeah, community manager. But this is the Darwin project. They had a video. Now, one thing, people's make comments about the guy streaming on stage, but after this is done, I will explain why this guy is up here doing this. So this is E3.
Yes. And actually, to preface this, if you want to see our interview, or our Brian's interview with a couple of the developers from this game, it's on our YouTube channel from PAX East this year. So we'll roll into that.
Yep.
Exclusive. 2 players remaining. One player remaining.
And what a play from the wounded warrior. She was caught in a trap, but she used superior tactics to get herself out of there. She's going to take the win. Let's move on to the next arena. Here we're following Bloody Marrow. There's only 2 players left in this particular map. Those tracks are leading up, but that tree is going to give them direct information. That red outline, there's a mortal unicorn, and he's letting in about 100 meters away now. Looks like he might be crafting or something, but what is this that Bloody Marrow's going to do? Getting ever closer, join that beeline, and now he's going to cloak it up. Is he going to walk in through the front door or what? Looks like he's going to sneak in on the back window. Here we go. Shot in the back. That's one, twice. Immortal's in trouble. Somebody from Mixer decided to chime in. That invincibility bubble's going to help him out and put on the fight of his life. There we go. The nice strike on Bloody Marrow. Bouncing it up forward. There we go. Oh, that was going to do the damage to the arrow to the belly. That's going to be the win for Bloody Marrow. Bloody Marrow wins the round.
Super freaking cool. I loved talking to these people at PAX East. They had a kick-ass concept and seemed unbelievably. First of all, they were all dressed up in inmate suits because the game is like you're an inmate, which was awesome. They were all in these cool jumpsuits, and they had the props and stuff. They were all pimped out for their booth, which was really cool. And their game is awesome. I mean, it's plain and simple. It's a good game.
It's fun to play. Yeah. Now, Nick and I actually have access to this.
Mm-hmm.
So they open this up every Thursday. They open it up to where we can play this.
Yeah.
And
we played last Thursday.
They actually have this sportscaster during those games that is shoutcasting pretty much your gameplay. So what they're hoping for is that you'll get streamers that are controlling these games. I think they're trying to get a close integration with Twitch.
It's going to be with Mixer now, I believe, because they said the screen said interactivity with Mixer. So I would imagine they've probably partnered with.
I mean,
Microsoft,
however they end up doing it.
Yeah.
But what they're wanting to do is have it to where you have the streamer that is actually controlling the game, controlling the progress of the game, shoutcasting the game, and they have the ability to fly around and jump from person to person. They have the ability to change where the zones are going to go, all these different types of things. And so that's kind of their goal with this. And that's why every time they're constantly, it's the Fridge Network. So if you're looking for who that shoutcaster is a part of, it's called the Fridge Network. And so you would have an opportunity, maybe when we stream this here in the next couple of weeks, if we can get it on a Thursday, we'll be able to stream it and you'll be able to hear him shoutcasting the game as we play. So yeah, and it'd be interesting to see the gameplay. If you look at that video, a lot of the things that they're showing off are actual things from the game. So like the traps and that shield, all those things are things that are in the game. So that's going to be probably their kind of intro video that goes into the game when you first start playing. Yeah, but it is a lot of fun.
Yeah, which is great. I guess there actually was a week 11 update for Battlegrounds, but
they just didn't put it on their website.
They didn't put it on their website, so it's just server and client performance things. It's nothing major, but it would have been nice for it.
One thing they did change that you might notice is they changed the match ends in timer from 5 minutes to 1 minute.
Okay.
Other than that, it's pretty much just server performance things.
Yeah. So that was the Darwin project. I'm saying this right now, and I think you may have
said it then.
You may have predicted this, but again, it's not in the book, so don't worry about it.
Have it on video.
It's probably not. It's probably a private conversation we had after. Well, actually, no. Maybe we do have it on video. But
no, I think I said the first episode when we got back from PAX. I said this.
Oh, why don't you go?
I told them to their face. That's the thing is I told it to one of the developers' face. I said I walked up to him afterwards. And I said, "You have something." I said, "This is going to be very popular. You have a really good concept, and this is going to take off." This is why I just walked up to him and told him that. So he heard me. Yeah, he knows.
Yeah, he knows. And we've actually, I'd say this. We probably have a relationship with them in terms. They really enjoyed. For whatever reason, nobody was like. We had
nobody gave them the time of day.
Yeah,
they had a small booth. That's the thing is they didn't have one of those high expensive booths.
Yeah.
They used every inch of that booth that they had.
Yep.
They were squeezed into it.
And I really enjoyed talking to them, and I would imagine we've got an in there. Actually, we do. We got. I mean, we need another beta key email key within 2 seconds. Actually, I DM'd him on Twitter. I didn't even email. So
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to this game taking off, and it will. I mean, it's inevitable. It's a similar thing to Battlegrounds. It's an unbelievable concept. The game. I mean, the game is got. It seems like it's got a huge development team behind it. It's just got to be a bunch of people that know what the hell they're doing. And it's good. So that's the Darwin project. Keep an eye for that. And again, massive state. I was not I damn near crap myself when I saw them at the Xbox thing. That's big stuff. That's huge for such
a
small
5-man group like that. That's big.
But you know, if it works, it works. Now in more E3 news, State of Decay 2 showed an awesome gameplay trailer. It's like 7 minutes long, so I'll play probably the first couple minutes of it, maybe 3 or 4 minutes of it. Did you happen to see this, Brian?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I watched the whole thing.
So
this is my kind of game. Like, this is the kind of game that, like, on the PS4 probably. I mean, I would play it on PC, but
well, unfortunately, it's an Xbox One and Windows
games.
10 exclusive, so you won't be playing it.
Okay, so I'll be playing on my PC.
Well, yeah, I don't know how that whole thing works, but nevertheless, this is State of Decay 2, some gameplay, and this looks pretty sick.
What would you do if the world you knew was gone? All the comforts, the simple pleasures you took for granted. How would you protect yourself and the ones you love when the protectors can't even save themselves?
Pulling out. Come on. Last truck. Get in.
How will you decide who belongs?
Thanks. I owe you.
How will you choose a place to call home? How will you build it? Work together to defend it from the terror just outside the walls. When you get hungry, cold, what risks will you take? What mistakes will you make? When the only family you've got is about to tear itself apart, will you end a life?
Wait,
Or save it?
please.
This is our only one, but we need everybody we've got.
So, Brian, if you want to just kind of talk over, there's 5 more minutes of this video. This game looks awesome.
No.
I was not a fan of the first one, though.
I didn't mind it. Like, I
didn't
enjoyed
really
playing
like it.
through it.
No.
State. I thought it was all right though. I mean, you got to think of when it was released, and
It just
you know,
didn't
it's
click.
a fairly old game now.
I don't know. I didn't like the first one. This maybe I'm more into the genre now than I was.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's super cool.
I mean, it's totally a survival game.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, you're gathering, you're just trying to survive in this type of an environment, running around and claiming bases and finding ammo and food and all these different things. So, I mean, it fits into that now, and it seems like they've taken that original game and kind of now the original State of Decay, they added more things as far as like DLC and kind of expanded the game later after initial release.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is now going to be a more complete game day one compared to what State of Decay was. So I don't know when you played State of Decay, but that's the thing is if you played it early on, or at least looked at it early on, they changed it a lot, to where if you went and got it now, it would seem like a different game because they added it to where it has more features and it has more game modes to it. I think that it's I played the kind of their more original State of Decay, and I kind of replayed it with the more current one. And there's a lot of stuff to do. It is fun, but it's an old game, so I think this is going to be a much more. And this is not a big studio that releases this.
No.
If I remember correctly, it's a fairly small studio. So they make a pretty good game for however big they are. I mean, it seems pretty polished.
Yeah,
So.
I'm pretty pumped for it. I don't know if it's necessarily a day.
So this will be a Windows which Windows 10 and Xbox release.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's on Windows 10, but it's on the Windows 10 store. It's not
so
like
you can't buy
on
it through Steam.
No, you got to buy through the Windows Store or on.
I wonder if eventually
Xbox.
they will break down and.
No, absolutely not. That's not what they're going for. They are.
But if they don't get the sales that they
they don't want.
I mean, eventually they're.
But again, they don't care about PC sales. I mean, people have got to remember this.
Yeah.
I'm speaking to the PC community now specifically. Consoles trump PC sales. The number times is unbelievable. 10 times in some cases. It's not even comparable.
Yeah.
So people have got to remember that. It's just a completely different thing. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean we'll see. I mean that's something I hate buying things. I don't know. That's going to make me kind of pause and be like, I don't really want to buy this through the Windows Store.
No, it's an awful.
That's probably what they're trying to get past.
That's the problem with EA.
I've never bought
and
anything through the Windows Store.
No, but again, it's the same problem Ubisoft and EA have. But the thing is, Brian, if you want to play the game bad enough, you're gonna pony up and buy it.
You will.
You don't have the choice.
And this is probably why they're trying to come up with these titles and get them exclusive, so they can force people to getting used to doing this.
Microsoft's not stupid. I mean, people can say they are, but they're not. So you can. I mean, you can hate it if you want, but I mean, they're doing nothing different than EA and Origin. And I don't mind this. I like this crossplay. I have an Xbox, had it since day one. Actually, I have a day one edition Xbox, and I don't mind this play through the Windows Store thing at all. I mean, it's Microsoft's thing, so just the way it is.
The thing is, I don't have an Xbox, so for me, it's kind of it's
a pain. It's a barrier to entry.
It's a pain.
But again, it's. If you want to play it enough, you will buy it.
You will.
Absolutely. And if that's the reason, then obviously you weren't interested in playing the game anyway.
No. All right. Do we want to go ahead and announce the first game giveaway?
Sure. What do we got?
Since we're kind of running late with it anyways. All right. So this will be a 30 points raffle. So you put exclamation point giveaway and you'll be able to enter this. It's 30 points. And this is going to be Broken Sword 5, The Serpent's Curse. This is actually really good. It's a really good kind of a adventure game. I played it, I think I don't remember if I played this one on tablet. It's a $25 game. So, but this is Broken Sword 5, The Serpent's Curse. Very fun game to play through. Has a really good story. I really enjoy this whole series. I always, if I either play it on PC or I get it on my tablet if I can, just because they're fun to play. So exclamation point giveaway will get you entered into that, and we will do a roll in about 5 or 10 minutes for that. So exclamation point giveaway.
Yes, you can go ahead and do that and have a chance of winning that. And again, if you're not here live, you should be. And we're here live every Tuesday night right here on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/infection podcast. And you can support us too if you're interested in doing so. You can head on over to our website, infectionpodcast.com/support. You can do a direct contribution through PayPal or use our Amazon affiliate link, and we'll get a couple bucks here and there from that. So all those different ways you can help support the show. Or you could be like Firebomb and get some merch made and be a walking billboard. And he says he tells people on Friday the 13th all the time, come listen to our podcast. Yeah. So that, I mean,
when he gets them into our Discord, I mean, because that's one thing is if you can get people in Discord, kind of keeps that line of communication open, and to where people are like, oh yeah, the podcast is still there, and you'll get them coming back.
Yes,
if they've maybe, because there's a lot of people that originally started listening to us for H1Z1, and that hasn't gone so great. So they're like, quit listening to the show because I'm not interested in that game, and they don't realize that we talk about a lot of other things. So it's always good when you can keep communication open and bring those people back.
Yes. So check that out. And of course, our game of the week this week is going to be Overwatch as well. So if you're looking for something to do Friday night, you can be. And we've got somebody in here because of a Firebomb shout out.
Very good.
Just telling you.
Thank you. Yep. And that's how it works.
Yeah.
Extra friends. I mean, that could be a little catchphrase.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. I couldn't see anything going wrong with that.
Just I'm worried where some of our listeners would take that. So.
A huge H1Z1 news this week. I'm just going to turn this off so Brian's not on the screen.
Go right past
H1Z1 news. First of all, King of the Kill news. Huge producers update. And I say it's funny because it is. That now that Battlegrounds is out and absolutely kicking H1Z1's ass royally, all of these features are clicking in King of the Kill. Team scoring, whole bunch of other stuff. So let's get into it. Team scoring is now in H1Z1 King of the Kill. Now, if you remember, it was supposed to be in July of 2015. This was supposed to be in the game, Brian. If I remember it specifically, because I was on vacation when they announced it. July 2015, We got the team systems, the leaderboards. There was supposed to be team and solo-based scoring. Since July 2015, there has been
and said that it was going to be in soon.
Yeah, none. Yep. There's been no team scoring since July of 2015. So we've got some of the details on it now. So I'll show you this screenshot. It's got kind of a similar look to the way the solo one looks. This is what when you mouse over 5s, this shows what your top 10 matches are, and I'll go through how the scoring actually works. So the first thing here is so you get a team score. That goes up once ever another full team is eliminated. So once the entire other team is wiped out, your team score will go up. If a team member gets a kill or a team member gets an assist, that team score will also go up. Now, in terms of your personal player, individual kills and assists are tracked and shown at the end of the match for all team members. So if I got 2 kills, that'll show at the end of the match. If Brian got a kill, that'll show for him at the end of the match. Assists, likewise. And then the score is calculated, there's a way that score is calculated based on team rank and kills and so on and so forth. Now, God, it makes me wonder. There's yet another preseason. Preseason 5 is starting. I wish we could just start an actual live season. I don't know why so many preseasons. Yeah. The team scoring is going... Now, I can see why, because the team scoring is being added, so maybe they need a new preseason for that. But preseason 5 is starting. It will add team scoring to that, and it's also making some other changes to the scoring. There will be a new... I don't know why this is such a big deal about these ranks in this game. I don't know why people care. But they're adding a new rank between Diamond and Royalty called Master, which will make the Royalty tier even more elite. I guess this is big for Twitch streamers and stuff like that. On the scoring side, there's players receive a flat score for each kill, no matter when it occurred during the match. Currently, the value of a kill increases over the course of the match. I personally like the idea of kills mattering more, because a kill you get right at the beginning and a kill you get at the end when you're camping your ass off in a house waiting for the game to end should not be weighed equally, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. So we'll see what happens with that. Gas changes. This is interesting. This is something I've been very critical of for a while. Is the gas limits you to a very small area. There's only a couple of areas that the zone actually finishes in King of the Kill. And they agree with that. So what they wanted to do is they're creating the system for it to be more dynamic and utilize the entire map. Because, for example, if you think about it, how often do you go up to the dam in King of the Kill? The answer is probably 0. I have never been to the new dam in King of the Kill. Because, first of all, you don't spawn up there.
I got up there like once, but there was no... I mean, we just went to check it out.
Yeah, we went to check it out, but in a game, you don't spawn up there, and then when you do, and then the zone never ends up there, so there's no reason to be up there. So with this, they have completely rewritten the zone system, the gas system from the ground up. So you can now, they say you can now expect final rings all over the map, including further to reach locations that are currently rarely visited, like the dam. The system has been updated and will take into consideration where the game ends and adjust how far you spawn from that, which is nice. So if the zone's going to end in the upper right-hand corner,
at the far corner,
like J1, which is where the dam is, if that's the case, it probably is not going to spawn you in A10 in the bottom, left-hand corner of the map. Those are polar opposites, which is good. They're going to add a balance there. And the rings are still randomized like they were before, but now there's more. It's going to utilize the map more. So instead of it always finishing in kind of the same-ish area in the middle, it's going to be utilized over the entire map.
Especially since Just Survive is not going to be using this map.
No.
Like, there's a lot of wasted space at the moment on the map.
Absolutely.
All those areas they were talking about that you don't really get to see because it just doesn't work out that you're making a special trip just to go look around the map rather than focusing on playing the game. So I think this is going to be a lot better. And now that they realize, okay, well, this isn't going to be a survival map, so people aren't really going to be using every inch of this map unless we get them there. And so this is solving that problem. And I think it'll make it a lot more fun to play. You're not going to be ending in the same places all the time.
Yeah. I like this because there was always the zone always kind of finished in the same spot, like no matter what, it was always in the middle. So there's a couple of other details with this as well. They added a cool little GIF here. It's not the easiest thing in the world to show, but they did add this cool little GIF, and it just kind of shows it's kind of a heat map from the looks of it of where the zone goes, and you can see where it's centered.
Most likely to go.
Yeah,
right?
it's in a couple of spots. It really doesn't go anywhere else. So you can see a couple of the areas there for that, which is interesting. So on top of that, there's a couple of other things in here as well. First of all, they say now the match can end almost anywhere on the map rather than just in the middle like it used to. And if they say almost because obviously you don't want it ending on the far edges of the map where there's nothing there. The spawn system has been redone as well. And there's a couple of other details in here about how they want to be able to control where the zones are so that they can later go in and do set events in certain areas. So overall, that's going to be good with that. The zone is going to be more random, which the way I interpret that is that there's going to be give the game maybe a little more new life. Make it feel like not every game is exactly the same. I mean, I play Battlegrounds a lot, and I don't ever feel like I'm playing the same game over and over again. With King of the Kill, you do kind of feel that because it's always kind of ending in similar spots. So with that,
you don't really have it. That's the thing is you don't really have a choice of where you spawn.
No.
I mean, that's where they really got it is we would play in H1Z1 where we actually would start in the exact same spot 3 to 4 games in a row, like right almost into the identical place. And that gives you a very limited choice of where to land. So you may go farther, not risk not getting a gun. Most likely you're going to get killed to go to a different place. But you're pretty much going to go to the place that's directly under you.
Yeah.
And so that's one thing they did get done very well in Battlegrounds is that you can pick almost anywhere on the map and get there in a game and not have it be totally making you lose the game. With this, having it be more random, there's a lot less chance that you're going to have those to where 3-4 times in a row, you're guaranteed to be in the same spot and not really have a chance to go somewhere else on the map.
Yeah.
So,
I'm greatly looking forward to how this thing is shaping up. I really do think that King of the Kill can Here's the thing: it doesn't need a rebirth because it's actually not doing that bad. If you look at current players,
Yeah, there's
people playing it. But I think for the more for the more casual player, the game is kind of dead. People that casually play don't want to play it because it's stale.
You die a lot. Well, and you die a lot.
Yeah, you die a lot, and it's stale. So there's a bit of a trade-off there. Nevertheless, there's more things in this update, so let's jump back to that. They've added 3 additional points of interest to continue filling out spaces around Pleasant Valley. Again, I said this. Battlegrounds is absolutely killing it right now, and H1Z1 has added. They've done like 9 changes. They've added 9 new POIs since Battleground lost. They added none before it.
Yeah.
So I mean that's insane to me, and they're working on this stuff. So there's a couple of new areas in here that are going to be around. You can see there's some military tents and some barns and farms and stuff.
A car
like that.
salvage place.
Yeah,
a new horse training area. A military kind of camp that's outside of a store. And then one thing they did is they said that they changed how the trees look from above.
Yep.
And it makes them look a lot more realistic.
Yeah,
so
they don't just look like flat
before,
objects.
They were the flat images, from distance for performance reasons. Now it actually looks like a 3D object, so you're not seeing those kind of weird shaped trees as you land, which I mean it adds a lot to the game because that's definitely noticeable when you're going down and you just see all these flat trees.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think this makes the parachute sequence look a lot better. I mean, you're only up there during the parachute sequence, but I think it definitely adds to kind of the experience of landing and just making the game look better. I think anything they can do like this just gives people less less ammo when they sit there and complain about H1Z1.
Yeah. Hold on.
And then they did some UI updates. So just a little bit of tweaking of how Steam invites work. So they made a better interface for that. So you can actually get into a group at the main, not even at the launch screen. You can get into a list, and then it shows like your recently played with friends, your current online friends. They just made it a lot easier to I guess find your friends and play with them, because it was kind of a pain before. It wasn't a very smooth and friendly interface for integrating with Steam. So they have added to that. And then your death screen or your win screen has more information on it where it says play again, exit match. So it'll show your placement score, your kill score that you got, your current account level. It'll have, your rankings and things like that. And then your current coin level that you have. So it has a lot more information. And then they made a lot of changes to the Lammy, so like the armor that they have in here. So it's a lot of information, but they went through and adjusted the spawn cap. So how many people will be out there, where they spawn, how often they spawn. So if you're really interested in the details, I think we did mention a little bit because they made a post on it on Reddit last week.
This is
the official,
and this is their issue and problem with it. They think that for whatever reason they think lammies are spawning too much. I don't think it matters.
Yeah.
If everybody has one,
I never thought that.
If everybody has one, then it doesn't really matter if everybody has one or if nobody has one. It's the same result. It offsets. So they want less lammies to spawn. They want people using more makeshifts. Personally, I don't think it makes a difference. The game is just so awful with its hit registration anyway, and how the kills are just not like. Sometimes you shoot one spot, you get the hit. Next time you shoot, you don't.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know if it matters. But they made a whole bunch of changes to the lammy. Maybe it's because we're kind of out of the loop, and people that are playing this.
And the thing is, I don't always know what they intend. Like sometimes we just assume that's how they intended it to be. We assume that that's how many lammies are supposed to be in the game. We assume this is how they're wanting the hit registry to work. But, I guess, if they say that they want less lammies because that's not what they envision for the game, then okay, well, that's what they envision. So we'll see. I mean, the issue with having everybody have lammies, everybody have all a certain set of gear, is exactly how many shots it takes to kill. It's like, okay, I took off his helmet. Okay, now I need to get another headshot, or now I need to do this many body shots. Like it's H1Z1 is very much a numbers game for the top players, to where they know, all right, I need to get this many shots on him to kill him. I knocked off his body armor. Like they know down to exactly what they're doing. Then you have the random people who run in there and they are playing, and it's like, oh, I hit him. Oh, why isn't he dead? Like they have no clue. They're shooting the guy and he's not dying. They don't realize, oh, I'm hitting his helmet. Okay, I'm hitting his body armor. Okay, it takes like 7 shots to kill somebody sometimes. So I don't know if this is kind of making it to where it's less likely that you're guaranteed a 7 shots, making it so where there's a lot less body armor out there, make it so that everybody's a little bit different. Because right now, almost everybody is most likely towards the end of the game having a Lammy.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
So there's that. Then there's a couple of different, they changed the way the pickup works. The kind of the biggest change in this is that now when you slam into destructible objects like fence posts and stuff like that, it now does 0 damage to the truck. So they say that now you can fly through the backyards without worrying about your truck getting damaged, which I guess makes sense. I mean, you're driving a pickup truck, you'd have like some type of cage in the front to block some of that damage.
Yeah.
So they've added that. They also changed the way it accelerates, and they said it should be closer to the way the off-roader is now, and a couple of other things noted in there. And yeah, but that's a big, Brian, we have seen like the levels of this game. They'll do nothing for a while, and then a whole bunch. I mean, they've been working on some stuff the past couple of weeks. We've seen large producer updates.
Yeah.
I mean, say what you want, but large stuff, and I think a lot of it is being driven by competition. Capitalism again, capitalism at its finest yet again.
Well, that's the thing, is these guys for a long time didn't have any competition.
No,
They kept,
none.
I mean, look at how they're like, oh, we're the top game on Twitch. Look at us. That's how it came across to me anyways. They were constantly like, hey, look how good we're doing. And then all of a sudden something came and made them realize, all right, we had to keep pushing. Like we had to keep striving. We had to keep putting things in this game, because just like in the other game, we will disappear. We will die out if we don't keep improving the game. There's very few games. I mean, there's a few of them that people play for some reason that have not added a lot of features in a long, long time. But there's not very many like that, especially this type of game. People will stop playing if there's nothing new. And especially, I mean, we talked about the hackers. If they don't keep the hackers at bay, that's another thing. They can add all these features they want. They got to also figure out the hackers at the same time. So we'll see how it plays out.
Absolutely. So we will we'll keep you up to date with what's going on with H1Z1, but there's big stuff coming.
This is a big King of the Kill. Yeah, this is a big King of the Kill patch for them. It's been a long time since I've seen them put out this much.
Yeah, they are
in one.
Well, I think they're against the clock now. I mean, for Christ's sakes, Battlegrounds is introducing zombies into a game that they don't even have a game mode to put zombies in, and they're already developing zombies. Now they're literally attacking. If you were to tell me tomorrow that
next, when are they going to put in base building?
Well, that's what I was just going to say. If you were to say tomorrow that Battlegrounds is announcing that at some point they're going to add a base building mode, I'd be like, oh yeah, okay, probably. Like, yeah, that wouldn't surprise me in the slightest.
Possible.
Yeah. So I give full credit to Bluehole and Battlegrounds for making H1Z1 the way they are.
Working to be great again.
Yeah, absolutely. Because they don't have a choice. They'll be rendered irrelevant if they don't keep things up to date. I mean, seriously, we have not had a scoring system since July of 2015, Brian.
Yeah.
That's a huge
I mean, everything
issue.
took forever. Pre-Battlegrounds, everything took forever to come out. Yep. And it's amazing how many, the follow cam, all these things mysteriously became a priority again the second that competition was doing it. So I think it's great. And I think if they can make a game that's fun, I mean, even if you, let's say I'm talking about the general audience, even if you don't play it, even if you don't play it, I think that it's, that there is a large audience that still does.
Yeah.
And I think if they enjoy that game, I'm not going to bash on them for enjoying it, because there are a lot of people who enjoy it and it is fun to play. I just get frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
And then I rage quit after a while for months. So
the cycle.
So do we want to go ahead
life.
and do? Yeah. Do we want to go ahead and do this?
Yes, sir.
Giveaway. All right. So we'll go ahead and roll for this. And congratulations. Just aimed on one.
Oh,
I don't know why you always enters. Do we?
Yes, re-roll. I've been told to re-roll.
I know he's not going to play it. Let's see. I don't know if it's gonna. Let's see if he'll do it.
Yeah, you can re-roll.
Hold on. Repick. Here we go. Green Man Cartoons. There we go. I had clicked the wrong button. So Green Man Cartoons, congratulations. And if you're ever looking if you see our cool little cartoon characters around, that is who has made those. And we're actually in some of his cartoons. So go check out his YouTube channel. Yep. And we're in, I think, an our cartoon and a Battlegrounds cartoon. Is that, or
I think you're in the Battlegrounds, and I don't think I did like a second.
No, because you died, and I thought I remember you dying in one of them a bunch.
Look at me, I'm Brian. I'm so funny.
Anyways, so there we go.
So
Green Man, I will send you a link to this. Sorry, and I will send you a link to this, and you'll be able to redeem it on Steam. So.
Yeah, you can check out Green Man's cartoons if you want to listen to Brian talk. I mean,
and if you want to see Nick die a bunch.
Yeah, I did have one line. Yeah, he sent me a thing. He's like, "Can you say into your mic like, I'm dead," or some stupid BS like that.
It was great.
Yeah, thanks, Green Man. I appreciate it.
10 out of 10.
Yeah. There was an update on the 7th that was just kind of a couple of bug fixes in it. Nothing crazy in it. They talk about every airdrop will. This is going into their armor thing. Every airdrop will contain either armor. It'll have a 47.5% chance of armor, a 47.5% chance of a hunting rifle, or 5% chance of both in the airdrops. And in 5s, there will be 2 laminated armors in airdrops. So they are really pushing hard to balance these laminated armors, which, I mean, I just really don't think is that big of a deal. I mean, it's
what, trying to spice it up a little bit. I don't know where this feedback. I haven't heard complaints about this.
I haven't heard any. I haven't seen a single post on Reddit where people are complaining about this.
Yeah. So that's the only thing that I'm not sure about is like, there's got to be a reason. Like, there's got to be a reason that they're pushing this.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I mean, maybe it'll make sense. Maybe it'll make sense at some point. Be like, oh, okay, well, that's why they did this. But I don't see it yet. So
yeah, and
maybe that's the thing. Maybe 6 months from now we'll be like, oh, this plays so much better than it used to.
Very well.
It might be one of those things, or it'll be like a lot of things they've done where they say, oh, we undid it. It's now rolled back to how it was before.
Yeah. And then they say that they're doing hosted games for a couple of communities that obviously are big into King of the Kill. So they have that available. And then they're doing some stuff going on with some server updates to try to do stuff with ping, specifically with ping restrictions for Australia servers to increase the number of available matches for the Australian region. So that is
that's one thing we really ran into. Like, we can't play with Joe anymore.
Unless you're playing EU.
It sucks. We can't play with EU people and Australian people at the same time. So I don't know if they're
doesn't
working on that is going to adjust anything, but it doesn't sound like it.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's sucks, but at the same time, it doesn't suck.
I mean, it solves one problem, but it creates another.
Absolutely. So yeah, that's pretty much H1Z1 King of the Kill. A lot of news around King of the Kill. And
so
with
now
that,
we had a big thing.
Huge update with Just Survive. Not a huge update. A huge live stream. They did a live stream last week that revolved around strongholds, and they announced a whole bunch of
showing
stuff.
The base building
and I'm talking
how it's going to work.
Game-changing things that were talked about here, Brian. I'll jump into a few of them right now. First thing is that stronghold locations will be bought with in-game currency. And this currency cannot be bought with real-life money. So they are putting themselves in a situation that you have to do stuff in-game to be able to purchase a stronghold location. They say
every item in the game will have a value.
Yes.
So if you're running around gathering items, you'll be able to sell those for whatever value they have and build up that currency.
Let me tell you, this fixes another issue, and I would imagine I have not seen this anywhere. This is my own thinking. This is going to what?
I said that's dangerous.
Yeah, no. This is my
think for yourself.
This is my own thinking with this. This is solving the issue of trash collection, and we always see these problems where people would loot an area and not take anything. They take everything that was useful, which was like one or two things in an area, and the rest would be pipes and just junk that nobody wanted. This may solve that issue because you're now going to pick up everything that you can hold in your backpack
because it's worth something.
It's worth something. When previously it wasn't worth a damn thing. So that's big.
That's the thing is people would go loot and there would be like they would always leave knives, right?
Yeah.
So there'd be
flashlights.
a bedroom that has 3 hunting knives or whatever.
Yeah.
It's sitting in it. It's like, okay, well, I don't need to pick these up. These are pointless. They're not going to do anything. So it's giving value to everything. One thing is that means there's going to be no shacks in the game. So there will be no starter shacks. These will be, I think, 100 locations that they're starting out with, and then they're going to kind of fine tune them over time. But there's 100 possible stronghold locations that they're going to be having on the map. And they're different sizes, so they're not all the same foundation size.
Nope.
So you find this building, you claim it, that's your building. And the only way initially that you'll be able to get out of it is if you choose to leave. So if you get griefed enough and you choose to vacate that, there's no way to raid and like destroy someone's foundation and get them out of there. Like they have to choose to leave. But if you grief somebody, not that should be what they're promoting, but if you grief a group enough, that will get them to move locations to where then you can take over if that is a highly sought after location in the game.
Yeah, I mean, eventually you steal their stuff enough, it won't. There won't be anything worth. The other thing that's interesting with this is that they have completely changed the idea and the concept behind raiding. So right now, or I should say right now, a year ago, when you wanted to raid, you would collect a bunch of ethanol and gas and IEDs and stuff and try to blow up doors and get into a base. This is completely changed. This is not even the same game at this point. There was a whole lot of issues. There was a whole lot of flaws. There was a whole lot of issues with that old system. It didn't work. Before I sit here and I've already seen this conversation online, people are already shitting on this idea. Nobody has played it.
Give it a chance.
No, that's the thing, is the old system was awful. It didn't work. The only thing that happened is in the middle of the night, hackers would come in and steal everything you have every single night over and over and over again. It didn't work. And
we would blow down a couple of walls and just clear everybody out, and everybody would leave the server.
Yeah, I mean, the system sucked.
It ended up being.
It was an awful system that never worked. So before we sit here on Reddit and bitch about this new system not working either, when none of us have even played it, none of us have even seen it, we've just heard the bullet points of how this is going to work. Why? I mean, first of all, you obviously don't care about this game. Because if you did, you wouldn't be complaining. Like, for example, this may not be the best idea. Maybe this is an awful idea too. But until it's implemented and I can play it, how can I sit here and complain?
At least they're looking at the problem. And this is the thing. For a long time, nothing has been fixed in Just Survive. I've lost count of how long it's been since a real, not maybe a bug fix, but I'm talking about like a gameplay, how you do something is really changed in Just Survive. Nothing has been fixed for a long time. At least they looked at one issue and said, all right, base rating is broken. What can we do to fix it? And this is their attempt at trying it.
Yeah.
And seeing, is this make it to where there's, when people get raided, it's less likely to be an overnight raid where people are just going in and destroying everything. When someone logs in, everything is gone. I think that this is going to be a much more friendly to keep people wanting to play after they've been raided, because there's a chance that your base will stand up. No one on the server when we were at our peak could have withstood our base raid, correct? I mean, we could get enough biofuel, we could get enough whatever it was at one point, pretty much blow enough doors down to clear whatever we wanted to.
Yeah. At one point, before the hackers started stealing
that made
it all. Yeah.
Before the hackers. But that's what I'm saying is there wasn't really. I mean, what was the point at that? There wasn't a challenge. It's just, did we choose to do it or not? This is actually like you have to do a little bit of timing. It's making it more of a raid to where, all right, we have to get in there and we have to get out in this amount of time before the gas goes off. And it creates a little more of something that's going to change, and everyone has to do their job correctly, and it has to be done. It's not just going to be like, oh, unless someone logs in, like we've got an hour to do this.
Yeah.
Probably, or at least.
So let me read some of these other things. So, fire will now actually affect the structure. There'll be like a recursive, like the building will burn down. But there's some interesting things with this as well. So raiders, you will now have a timer to complete a raid. For example, you would not be able to. What was common is that you would log in overnight at like 2:00 in the morning and raid for like 3 hours until 5 or 6 a.m. Eastern, when somebody may from another region
People start logging in again.
Yeah. So that is no longer going to exist. Raiders, depending on the size of the stronghold, how many pads it is, you'll have a timer to complete their raid. Once that timer is up, and that we'll get the details on that when it's ready, a poison gas will start activating and fill the stronghold and kind of push out the attackers. Now, if you somehow manage to not get pushed out by that, you will eventually just be ejected after a certain amount of time of that gas. So they are forcing they're telling you how long you have to raid. You have a set period of time to raid. Now, you can still choose to do that in the middle of the night. That's fine. But after that raid timer is over, Brian, there's going to be a shield that covers the base where the containers become locked for anybody that is not in the clan or in the group. Those will be completely locked, and the base will become invulnerable. You will not be able to destroy the base anymore. And the base is repaired.
And it rebuilds itself.
It will completely rebuild itself. Which now obviously there'll be a process. You'll have to pay for that. There will be a currency or something for that system to be rebuilt.
Maybe a repair box, kind of like what they had done a while ago. I mean, you can have it where there's a repair box where you just keep resources in there to have it repair your base.
Yeah, exactly. There'll be some process. It's not like 100% like, oh, every time your base gets blown up, it's 100% rebuilt.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the big thing. This is a
much more playable dynamic.
So
a replayable dynamic. You're not going to be running people off the server, because if the raid doesn't work, all your stuff is still going to be there when you get. Well,
your structure will be, your loot will not. Your loot is gone.
Well, but I'm saying if they didn't get it.
No, correct. Right? So what will happen is if I blow down half of your base to get your loot, Brian, I'll get away with your loot if I get out. But your base will rebuild itself. Your loot was not coming back, but I will not be able to.
But if they couldn't get to that in time,
correct,
like
then
all
nothing
your
is
stuff
gone.
is still going to be there, and your defenses will be back.
Yeah. It is. I have not heard of this. This is a very interesting mechanic. This was drawn up on.
At least it's something new too. That's
the thing is, this was drawn up on many of whiteboards and torn apart and rebuilt 1,000 times to figure out what would work. I don't know if this system will work. It's interesting. It encourages you to actually build your base and not being like, oh, well, F it. It's going to be gone in 6 hours anyway, because a bunch of Chinese people are going to log on and destroy everything, and it's never going to be back. Yeah. There's a concept now to, okay, put your heart and your soul into the resources to build your base, and then
you may lose some of your loot, but that's fine. You can always get that back. It's when everything is destroyed when you log in that it's like, all right, I'm done. I don't feel like playing anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's what they're really trying to get rid of, is that feeling.
And it's a real issue. Because there's no incentive. I mean, even when we were playing, we would build like the smallest base possible because we knew it was just going to get destroyed, and it wasn't worth the week's worth of building to have it get all destroyed. So this is next level stuff. Again, I don't know if it's going to work, but we're talking about an unrateable base at a certain point with this shield. This is crazy. I mean, this is nothing I've seen. And if it works, great. If it doesn't, it was worth the concept because what they had right now is awful. And it just doesn't work at all.
I think this is the kind of thing they're going for, is this on top with the new map, with the new building system, with the new,
it's a new game.
It's a totally fresh new game. It's nothing like the original. Like there will be some graphics and there will be some way you move and everything will be probably similar, but you'll have a totally new game to log into and check out when they launch.
Yeah.
So I think this is going to do nothing but help their numbers because, I mean, you can't really hurt their numbers that much more.
Yeah.
I mean, people aren't playing it that much because it's just, there's not anything to do.
No, and this is my point with this. You can say this is awful. I don't like the concept. I want to build, because here's the thing. You're not going to be able to build a base anywhere you want now. There are limited areas that you'll be able to build your base. You know, part of me says, oh, that sucks, right? I want to be able to build wherever I want. But then on the flip side, we had people building wherever they want, and it was a complete and utter cluster. We had people building all around the cities, completely destroying it. Yeah. You couldn't go into some cities because there were people.
PvE was unplayable.
Yeah, I mean, it was ridiculous.
There was so many containers you would lag out in cities.
Yeah, I mean, it just didn't make any sense. I just don't. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, you can. Brian, here's the thing. I don't know if this is going to work, right? I don't know if this is going to be good. I don't know if this is going to be sustainable. I don't know. If this may suck. This may be worse than what we had before. But what we had before was awful. So I have got as open of a mind as anybody. I'm interested in trying this. I like the concept that my shit is not instantly gone every single time somebody comes and raids my base. You know, there's a rebuilding process. I'm not going to log into flames every single time I log out.
Yeah.
I just don't know. I don't know where this is. I don't know where this is going. So, these are massive changes. This is a completely different game. A couple of other things. Health bars will appear when you look at objects only now. Object limit on base pads. Now they say to avoid. Yeah. Now they say to avoid performance issues. I am kind of getting a miscreated vibe with that, which I hope is not like that issue of like, you know, those supply boxes and you need to get blueprints to get a bigger one. So there's an object limit per base pad. Base tiers will have different.
And well, that's the thing is each pad you can put a certain number. Like you can't put. That's determining like how many walls and rooms you can have. So they'll have different pads to start with, and then maybe they'll have an object limit. But I assume from their screenshots that should be a pretty high limit, much higher than what Miscreated is.
Yeah. Yeah, God, I hope so. It's like 6 objects you can store in a base. But and going on with that, as you said, shacks will be removed. Plan UI redesign in the future, so maybe not day one. I don't know. You know, again, UI is important. But again, I'd rather have a good base building system, this stronghold system, before I really worry about UI as much. That's my opinion. And then they said when demolishing items, you'll receive the material in return. And then, you know, they added a whole bunch of cool stuff. I recommend go watch the live stream. It's like 45 minutes long. They show some screenshots. They show some videos. A whole bunch of cool like support posts, so you can have like free floating roofs and stuff. And I don't mean literally floating, but you have like a support pole in the middle, so it's not like you have to place a container, destroy it, and then put the roof, you know, do that whole mess.
It's an actual modular base building.
It looks pretty legit, Brian. I'll tell you, it looks really legit. So that's that is H1Z1 Just Survive.
Now,
I don't know.
Do we want to move on to the Long Dark? Because they have a video, but I think this is a pretty big announcement for them. So I don't know if you have that ready.
I can pull it up
to where we can play it, and it's talking. The person's actually talking the whole time, so we don't need to talk over it. But it is right at 5 minutes. So
we can do that.
all right. So this is the Long Dark. Just a little setup. Faithful Cartographer is the final update before launch. So this is actually coming out of early access, which is another title that actually is making it out of early access, which is a cool thing. Yeah, because I mean, there's so many that don't, and this is a really good survival game. This is .423 Faithful Cartographer. It was put out on the 7th, but they really reworked a lot about it. So this is a video, and he actually covered a lot of really good things. It kind of describes some of the new things in there. So go ahead and play it.
Hi, this is Raphael, the creative director at Hinterland, and I'm happy to share some information about our final sandbox update to the Long Dark's early access campaign. We're calling this update Faithful Cartographer. First off, we've done a complete update of the game's user interface. We feel the new style serves our world's post-digital setting much more faithfully and unifies the game environment with the lens through which the player experiences it. We've also made many adjustments to how we present information to the player, fully exploiting the two-layer information architecture we've been working towards over the past years. Every major screen and interface element in the game has been reviewed and improved. We feel that this sets up the Long Dark for the full launch of Wintermute on August 1st and gives us a solid foundation for moving forward. On the gameplay side, we've added carcass quartering to address a long-standing community request to be able to harvest animal carcasses within the safety of interiors. You can now cut up carcasses and carry the sections in your inventory. To preserve game balance, the imprecise quartering action results in you carrying some extra weight compared to the on-site harvesting action, and a new scent system and HUD element indicates how attractive you are to predators as you carry all that bloody meat around with you. We've added stone throwing as an early game tool for hunting. You can use stones to stun rabbits, which you can then choose to kill or release. If you're lucky, thrown stones might also scare off a wolf. We've also expanded on our first-person presence to include the rifle, bow, distress pistol, stim, and all the light sources. While navigation in the Long Dark has always been based on learning your environment so you can recognize landmarks, we received feedback from many of our players who desired a more traditional mapping system. Without compromising our original landmark-based navigation philosophy, we've added a simple cartography system. You can use charcoal generated by burned-out fires to survey your local area, which updates your region map with information about only what is visible to you from wherever you're standing. Our goal is to give you a tool to keep track of what you have discovered so far, rather than reveal the world through the map. We've improved the struggle mechanic by giving each tool a specific role. You now have a few seconds to select from your valid weapons at the start of the struggle, and the tool you use can influence the outcome of the struggle. Does it cause the wolf to flee in fear? Do you end the struggle quickly to mitigate your own damage? Or do you go for the kill? Those are some of the bigger additions in Faithful Cartographer. There are also many minor improvements and dozens of bug fixes as well. One thing to keep in mind is that we've had to completely rebuild our save architecture in anticipation of launching Wintermute, so any previous sandbox saves for the Long Dark will no longer function as of this update. Badges and feats progress will be preserved. We're sorry to have to do this, but since this is the first time we've forced a save wipe in nearly 3 years of development, we hope you'll forgive us. This is an important step to solidifying the save game system for our Wintermute launch and beyond. You can find a full change list on Steam or at hinterlandforums.com, and as always, please monitor our Facebook and Twitter accounts for more information, or visit thelongdark.com for more updates leading up to our August 1st launch of Wintermute. Once we launch the 1.0 version of the Long Dark on August 1st, the game will no longer be in early access. This also means that Faithful Cartographer will be the last time we update the sandbox in early access. While we intend to continue updating the core game into the future, this feels like a big milestone for the game and the team here at Hinterland. I'd like to personally thank all of you for your support of our studio and of our game over the past years on Kickstarter, Steam Early Access, and in-game preview on Xbox One. Your ongoing dedication to the game and your faith over the years has helped keep us going. We're very excited to launch Wintermute on August 1st. I can't wait to share with you my vision for the Long Dark, and I very much hope that you will find it was worth the wait. On behalf of the entire team at Hinterland, thank you. We'll see you in the quiet apocalypse.
All right. The Long Dark coming out August 1st.
Yeah, and this is it's a really good game.
Big stuff.
If you're into survival challenge single player game, it's got a lot to it. So it's definitely a fun game to play. And they're adding kind of a story element to, which is kind of similar to Ark, what they did. You know, there's a lot of stuff that they're saving for that final release. Like they didn't show everything. Kind of like the Forest. If you look at the Forest, if you play through, you kind of see mostly what's there. I don't know that they're really going to, at the end, say, oh, now here's a bunch of quests and things that weren't there. They're kind of building the story. And if you play the whole time during the test period, you'll have a good idea what is at the end. This one, they're going to have a bunch. That whole single player mode is going to be new. So you'll actually be able to play and see new things day one when August 1st hits. So definitely check it out. I think if you like survival mode games and you like environmental, like surviving against the environment, it is an excellent game.
Yeah.
And I think this patch is going to be really good.
Yeah, so this is a great game. And I love the games coming out of early access. I really do.
Yeah, and that's a good thing, because this kind of a game, I mean, we've seen other ones that are somewhat similar as far as maybe studio size and all this, that just seem to be, I mean, look at DayZ. I mean, look at a lot of these other games that are just forever in early access. Like these guys made a plan and they said, all right, we're going to do these features. We're going to accomplish it just like Ark did. Ark said, we're going to have 100 dinosaurs or, 100 creatures.
Yep.
They set exact numbers and they said, when we hit that point, we're done. Then we'll release it and it'll be launched. These guys did something very similar, saying, here's what we envision. Here's what we want. When we hit that, we're going to launch, and they finally hit that point. So, and they haven't seemed to really compromise on anything, which I like to see too.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's it. That's
all right. So let's go ahead and really quick. Let's do
game
the
giveaway.
Final game giveaway.
Yes,
so
sir.
We don't run out of time. Once again, this will be exclamation point giveaway. This will be a 30 points raffle once again, which means that you've been watching the stream for 30 minutes. And let's see, this one is going to be Verdun. So this is a kind of a war game. I will put a link to it in chat, but it's VERDUN. It's a $25 game right now. It's got very positive ratings. Came out in 2015. It is a World War I first-person shooter multiplayer historic war game. So Verdun, and I will put a link to the Steam page in chat if you want to check it out. Make sure you don't have it already. But it looks like a pretty cool game, worth $25 right now. So exclamation point giveaway, and you'll be able to enter for that.
Coolio. All right. With that, there's a whole bunch of stuff we didn't get to. We'll get to the important stuff next week. But, I thought it was more important to bring you the E3 timely stuff. I don't know, because, it only happened a couple days ago.
News next week.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, we're always on top of the most recent news here on Infection Podcast. So with that, we do have current players. A couple of quick ones here. Nothing crazy this week. I'm not even going to bother doing Just Survive anymore until they do an update. I mean, doesn't seem useful. Currently playing H1Z1 King of the Kill. Currently playing this 28,277 the 24-hour peak. 115,083, and the 70 peak, 119,917. Moving on to Ark Survival Evolved. Getting ready for a launch on this. Currently playing this, 42,339, the 24 peak, 61,663, and the 70 peak, 67,178. And ladies and gentlemen, Player Unknown's Battlegrounds. Currently playing this, 95,187, the 24 peak, 192,862, and the 7-day peak, higher than it was last week. All-time high peak reached 2 days ago. That would be Sunday, 218,071. And Brian, that is 10,000 more than it was last week. So we are slowly reaching that 300,000 mark, which I think we predicted. I believe you wrote it down in your notebook. Did you write it down in your notebook?
Let me see.
I think we wrote this down. Not seeing it.
No, I don't see that.
We'll have to go back to last week's show and
I think we may have said something.
We did. We most definitely did. Well, we got to make sure we write that down then. So we will we will do that.
Our predictions in there.
All about the prediction. All about the predictions. So with that, just a couple games for current players as we are running a little bit longer than usual, but
we're running long.
Yeah, not a problem. So
and we did start a little bit late, so maybe
Thanks,
the people that are listening to us on the podcast, podcast form, they probably won't even notice the difference. Yeah, so let's go ahead and go into tip of the week. Tip of the week's where I go through, and sometimes I'll talk about a specific game. Sometimes I will talk about a general gaming tip. This week is going to be specific. I'm going to be talking about the Long Dark. So this is tip of the week. All right. So in the Long Dark, they have for the kind of the sandbox mode 3 different levels of difficulty. They have the Pilgrim, which is more of an exploration type of a mode. The wolves and the bears, they don't attack you, and there's less of both in other game modes. So you can run around. You don't have to worry about those things attacking you, but also you can try to kill them to try to get food and things like that. So it's a good place to start out. Then they have the Voyager level, which is kind of the middle mode. And here there are a few more wolves, but the biggest change is that they will attack you without provocation. So, and this is the default difficulty. So let's say you're just loading in and you don't change the setting. You will start out in the Voyager mode. So the wolves will attack you. And then you've got Stalker, which is the hardcore mode. And the wolves now seem to target you from halfway across the map, is what someone said. So that's something to where you definitely need to be careful. And it's definitely recommend that you don't instantly jump into Stalker mode. Also, you may want to even think twice if you've never played the game before of jumping in at the Voyager mode. This game is a very difficult game. It has a real challenge to it aside from the animals. So I would recommend that you start out at Pilgrim just to get comfortable with the world, get comfortable with the tools that are available to you in the game, that you need to use in order to survive. Because this game is not about just hunting and killing things and things like that. It's about staying warm. It's about finding the things to light fires, finding clothes to wear, and then also finding food. And so it's a very big challenge. So I would recommend that you don't be ashamed. Play Pilgrim until you get very comfortable with that type of a gameplay. And then you can move it up and attempt the next level. Because if, let's say, you jump into Stalker mode immediately, you'll get frustrated with the game because you will just constantly die. You will be able to go out there and maybe last for 5 minutes, and then you won't get anywhere. The goal is to survive as long as possible. So if you get out there, you will find that just surviving against the environment and not the animals is a big enough challenge to keep you entertained. And then when you get to the full final release on August 1st, they will be having some more of a single player style guided mode that will kind of take you through a story. So that will be something new and exciting. So maybe you could use this opportunity to play in one of these game modes get used to how the game plays, so that when you go through and play in the single player mode where you're trying to go through the story, you're not fighting against the system and constantly dying because you don't truly understand how to play the game. So that is tip of the week for the Long Dark. Thank you.
Coolio.
So yeah. All right. So do we have anything else we want to cover before we do the raffles? Or we've got news. This thing is we had news on, and this is something that we can do next week because 7 Days to Die. They're having a patch that's coming out. So we have some information about what is going to be in that.
It's only been 9 months anyway, so I mean, what's another week? If it does,
yeah.
Who cares?
We can wait a week on that. Hide and hold out. We'll cover some of the changes that they put on that. Rust. We usually don't, because they put out a week update every single week. So we'll cover that next time. And then Conan, we have some pretty cool stuff, but we will cover it next time as well. Because we would have a 2.5 hour.
Oh God, 3.5 hour
3 hour show if we tried to cover all these things and then
absolutely.
Unturned as well.
Yes. So
we will try to make up for it next week. It's just this with E3 and everything else. There was a lot going on this week that we had to cover. And so we'll try to, who knows, usually they'll do a bunch of stuff and then there's kind of like a burnout to where it takes them a couple of weeks to get more news because they're recovering from putting out a big patch or something. So I think next week we'll probably have time to cover it.
Yes, sir.
So, all right. So let's go ahead and we will roll for this.
Alrighty.
Bat Chain Puller, congratulations.
Longtime friend of the show.
And I will send you, longtime fan of the show.
Yeah.
So I will send you a link. And so you will have that in your messages under other. So you're looking, but you won before. So I'm sure you know where to look.
Yes. Yeah. So
are we good?
Yeah. Game of the week will be this Friday night. Overwatch. Make sure you're up to date. If you're like most people, Battle.net doesn't launch on your computer. So make sure you're up to date. I only had like a 35 megabyte update. Actually, no, I had a 1.1 gigabyte update when I pulled it up. So make sure you're up to date before Friday night. We'll get a couple groups going on that. Also, because Battle.net requires a friend system that is outside of Steam, if you go into our Discord, there's a channel called Servers. And
yes,
if you scroll all the way back, not far, all of our Battle.net tags are in there. So if you want to add a bunch of people from the community for Friday night, all those names are listed in there. And likewise, if you're going to play Friday night and you haven't played before, throw your name in that hashtag servers room. Yeah, it makes it much easier to connect with people. So do that, and we'll be good to go for Friday night. Look forward to see everybody for that.
Very good. If you want to find me on the internet, at Boise Computer on Twitter, or you're welcome to go to my blog, and there's a lot of ways to contact me on there, and it's biteoftech.com. I encourage you to join us for our Friday night game night. Make sure you have it loaded up and ready on your computer. Get a hold of us on our Discord. So if you go to infectionpodcast.com, on the right-hand side, we have our links to our Discord. We have our links to our Steam group. Also, we've had a lot of people that have heeded my call and have come in and joined us. People that have been listening to the show for a long time, watching the show for a long time, that are finally getting into Discord and joining us in games. And I appreciate that. Thank you very much for those that have done that. And if you're someone who has been listening, we got people that have been listening to us now for years, but they've never sent us some email. They've never jumped into the Discord or TeamSpeak back when we had it. So if you're one of those people, I encourage you to reach out, come and join our gaming community. And we have Discord, we have our Steam group, excellent ways to be able to find other people that are playing the games that you like to play. And so just go to our website, click the links, also follow us, subscribe to us, all those different things across all the different platforms. Also, one thing we never mentioned, I figure we can mention now, is things like iTunes reviews.
Oh yeah,
if you enjoy the show, that's something that we haven't really ever promoted that I know about. But little things like that, like if you enjoy listening to the podcast, it's easy to go in there and just leave a little iTunes review, because that way other people that are maybe looking for a podcast about gaming, you look at the name Infection Podcast, oh, they talk about whatever. There's a lot that do that. But yeah, well, no, maybe you don't want to search for infection, but that will help them to know, hey, maybe this is the type of podcast I'd like to listen to. And it's a nice way, a way that doesn't cost you any money, doesn't cost you anything to be able to support the show. So And it doesn't have to be, it can be on whatever platform that you listen to us or watch us on. But if there's a way to leave a little comment or a rating, I would encourage you to do that.
We have 11
Since we never
reviews
asked.
on iTunes.
And they're probably all from years ago when we first started, when I think we mentioned it one time.
It
So-
looks like December 14th, 2016 is the most recent one. Somebody left us a 3-star
that's-
review on iTunes. Man, what the hell? Come on, that's a bunch of
Yeah.
BS. 3 stars? What do we ever do to deserve that? It's probably a Daybreak employee.
Yeah. They're average. They only talk about our show.
Yeah,
now
the
half
most
the
most
time
recent
at that point.
review. This is a great podcast with great content. That's December 14th, 2016. All the other ones are from 2015. So when we were a different show, we were the H1Z1 podcast at that point. So yeah, Nisco posted a link in chat. So if you would leave us a review on the iTunes, and we would.
Unless you hate us. I mean, if you hate us, I don't know why you're listening right now.
Exactly. So yeah, leave us a review on
You-
iTunes.
you-
Smash
you made
that
it all the way
review.
through the show if you hate us that bad.
Smash that
Smash
review
that review
button. Smash the review button. 5 stars only. Thank you.
Thanks for the restrictions.
So there you go. And of course, with that, if you use a podcast app that we are not listed on, let us know of that. Brian will get that sorted out, or I'll get that sorted out. No Rage says 1 star did not win every game I enter for. Valid concern for the podcast, as none of them have ever won any of the games if they've listened to it via the podcast.
And the podcast
So yeah. Can we get 10,000 stars? Let's say 100,000. Can we get 100,000 stars by next week?
yeah, that's our goal.
Yeah, by next week. So
I'm sure something great will happen. We have to come up with some fake thing that will be
fake
like, oh, this will
contest.
happen if we get a one. Yeah, some fake contest.
Brian will shave his head bald if we get 100,000.
No, that will never happen. That is crossing the line.
Okay. Alrighty. Thank you very much, Brian. We'll see you next week. You can follow me on Twitter at Nicholas M. Craig. I have in my possession a special edition of The Crummy Show that I just recorded today with Jake. An E3 wrap up that will be uploaded right after Infection tonight on our on the Crummy Show site. That's crummyshow.com. It'll be an E3 recap of everything. So if you want to hear Jake and I's opinion on that, crummyshow.com, you can check that out. It'll be an E3 recap show live for you on that. Again, you can follow me on Twitter at Nicholas M. Craig. Join our Discord, join our Steam group, all of that other fun stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us for another episode of Infection. Enjoy your week. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.